going on, guys? Thank you so very much for joining me right here on Off the Script. I am JD from New York, and I'm bringing you the latest in WWE news and rumors. If you missed any of my extras this week, links will be down below in the official playlist of OTS Extra. Renee Young. Everybody loves Renee Young. People would go as far as to say Renee Young is the best backstage personality that WWE has had in years. Renee Young is now leaving WWE after SummerSlam 2020. Now, this was originally reported by Outkick.com. I seen the reports on Wednesday morning, and I took all of these reports with a very, very small pinch of salt. And then we started to see the news break. Fightful was reporting it. Mike Johnson of PW Insider was reporting it. All the other analysts in the community were tweeting about it. Alex McCarthy of TalkSport even tweeted about it. And then there was some fuel to this Renee Young fire. She's leaving WWE. It is now confirmed. Young will still work SummerSlam, and she's leaving on her own accord. Alex McCarthy actually tweeted this on Twitter. She gave her resignation a week ago, but still will work SummerSlam on Sunday night. Alex McCarthy says, and I quote, "Can't stress enough how highly I rate Renee Young at what she does. I'd be shocked if a major sports network, Fox, didn't give her a great gig. All the best in whatever she does." End quote. Now, obviously, I know everybody's already talking. Obviously, people are going to correlate Renee Young leaving the WWE with a potential position in AEW because of who her husband is, Jon Moxley, and his position in AEW being the AEW World Heavyweight Champion. I don't think that's the case at all. In fact, I think Renee Young has the talent to do everything else, including wrestling, but I feel at this stage of her career, I think she's outgrown professional wrestling. I do think that this is a joint decision between her and her husband, Jon Moxley, and I do think that she does want other opportunities away from wrestling. And I do think that the schedule that WWE has and the shit that they demand from everybody, the soul-sucking fucking company that WWE is, why would she want to be there? She has a cookbook coming out. She wants that out as quick as possible. She loves to cook. She wants other opportunities. Maybe she gets a Food Network show. Who knows? If that's the case, I'd watch. I'm a big Food Network guy. Renee Young also tweeted that she wants to be on the Hallmark Channel doing a Christmas movie. Maybe she wants to get into acting. She can do any other role in sports that she wants because she's that good. She has the charisma to do so. She has the personality to do so. But all the marks in the community are going to correlate with Renee Young leaving one company and going to the other to fabricate some fucking imaginary war that's going on between WWE and AEW. This has nothing to do with a war. Renee Young doesn't give a shit about a Wednesday night war or an AEW versus WWE. Renee Young cares about family. Renee Young cares about Renee Young and the other opportunities that she could not do while under WWE contract. This is a very simple situation, folks. Renee Young is doing what she wants to do. I think she was great. I think she will be missed. There is not many in the WWE that can do what Renee Young does. Kayla Braxton's very good. Charlie Caruso's very good. But Renee Young, I think, was head above all in that role in WWE. I also think, and this may be me stretching it a little bit, but who knows? Who knows? I got to throw all the variables out there. Who's to say Renee Young didn't want to leave WWE when COVID broke out in the Performance Center? If I'm not mistaken, I believe I read a report that when Renee Young tested positive for WWE, I'm sure it was somebody from WWE. She was working the WWE tapings inside the Performance Center. She got COVID there, took it home, gave COVID to her husband, or afraid that she gave COVID to her husband. Thankfully, he tested negative. But who's to say that's not the reason why Renee Young is leaving as well. Might not be the reason, but it could be a very small reason as to why Renee Young is leaving. The negligence of WWE, only for them to go through the worst and put all their roster at risk and then do the right thing. And like I said before, if I'm not mistaken, did I read a report or did you guys read a report that Renee Young was homesick and nobody gave her a text? Or sent a text over, a phone call to see how she was doing or if she needed anything? If Renee Young can't get that treatment from the people in that company that run this fucking soul-sucking piece of shit company called World Wrestling Entertainment, then who is going to get that treatment? Why would Renee Young want to be there and feel like she's irrelevant or unimportant or just another number on a paycheck? Doesn't really make sense to me. Whatever Renee Young goes and does, she's going to do just fine. I don't think she's going to AEW, even though I think Tony Khan should make an offer. I think AEW would love to have Renee Young. She brings a lot with her, a lot of experience, a lot of fan base, a lot of positivity, a lot of praise. I do think they're going to be interested in her, but I don't think Renee Young is going to be interested in doing anything pro wrestling related, even though her husband is over there as AEW World Champion. And with the time on the road and the time in Orlando, I don't know, they live in Las Vegas, I believe. Is that correct? They live in Las Vegas. With all the time she has to spend in Orlando, she could be at home doing what she wants to do with her husband. So it's closer to being a situation of more happiness at home instead of more happiness in the workplace, because she knows she has a plethora of opportunities awaiting her and she can spend more time with her husband. This is a very simple situation, folks. I wish Renee Young nothing but the best, and I'm sure she will land on her feet in a role, whether it's sports, Food Network, acting, broadcasting, no matter what. Renee Young is going to be fine. We will all miss Renee Young's charismatic personality on WWE TV. And again, I want to wish her the very best in her future endeavors. As we all know, on Sunday, it will be Seth Rollins versus Dominik Mysterio at SummerSlam in a street fight. And I talked about this on yesterday's Off the Script Extra, that it was a street fight or changed to a street fight to give Dominik Mysterio a fighting chance against somebody that the majority of the audience figured that he will not beat in a standard one-on-one match. It also gives WWE a chance to hide Dominik Mysterio's weaknesses. Now, with the match planned and the match booked, what's Dominik Mysterio going to do at SummerSlam? What is he going to come out looking like at SummerSlam? Is he going to look like his father? Is he going to wear a mask? What type of wardrobe is Dominik Mysterio going to be repping at SummerSlam? I got it for you right here. This is a picture, a sneak peek of Dominik Mysterio's SummerSlam gear as he takes on Seth Rollins at SummerSlam on Sunday night. Hayashi Masahiro posted something on Instagram, as you guys see on the screen right there. I'm assuming Masahiro is designing Dominik Mysterio's attire for SummerSlam. So they go on and say on Instagram, and I quote, "When the boy came to Tokyo 13 years ago, he was playing wrestling with my son at the hotel room. Finally, he will make his dream come true this weekend. Next, come to Japan as a WWE superstar. Hashtag Dominik Mysterio. Hashtag Booyaka 619. Now, I gotta admit, even though I've shit on Seth Rollins several times, and I've shit on this storyline several times, I gotta admit that this is one of the very few things I'm excited about at SummerSlam. Not even Seth Rollins' inclusion in this, but more so how Dominik does in a WWE ring for the first time against somebody like Seth Rollins, even though there is a stipulation involved. This storyline's been all over the place. It's been lame at times. It's been brutal at times. It's been great at times. But the supporting characters in this storyline, like Aleister Black and Humberto Carrillo and Kevin Owens and Samoa Joe and everybody else that was in this thing, they didn't really get over in any sense of the word. Hopefully WWE does the right thing and makes a new superstar in Dominik Mysterio on Sunday night. I'm very interested to see what he does against somebody the caliber of athlete like Seth Rollins at SummerSlam. Hopefully WWE does right by him. I do not think that this is the end of the story. I do think that at the end of this, we end up getting a tag team match between Rollins and Murphy or somebody else against Rey Mysterio and Dominik, because that's what Rey Mysterio wanted out of all, which was a tag team match with his son Dominik. And I do think that we're going to get it at Payback, because WWE clearly is doing some of these matches on Sunday night, and then we will see a revised version of these matches, some, not all, on the following Sunday at Payback, because as you guys know, WWE has another pay-per-view 1 week after SummerSlam the following Sunday. So I'm very interested to see where this goes. That's the sneak peek of Dominik's attire at SummerSlam. Let me know what you guys think of that down below, and let me know what you think is going to happen at SummerSlam between Dominik and Seth Rollins. Speaking of SummerSlam, WWE usually has SummerSlam access during the entire week building up to SummerSlam. Obviously, this year, that will not be possible due to the restrictions and WWE working through the coronavirus just like everybody else. So there will be no SummerSlam access in person, face-to-face. But WWE is bringing SummerSlam access virtually with the debut of the ThunderDome for SummerSlam. Now, normally, I don't know what these meet and greets go for. They go up to $250, up to $400, I've seen, depending on the superstar that you want to meet and greet. Now, I don't know what you guys would be willing to pay for a meet and greet virtually, or if you would be willing to pay for a meet and greet at all virtually. But WWE, look at this. WWE is going and doing virtual meet and greets for $125. And this is the lineup for the virtual meet and greet. Now, the news article reads as follows. WWE announced a virtual meet and greet for SummerSlam. These sessions will take place from the 22nd to the 24th, so that's TakeOver Saturday, SummerSlam Sunday, and Raw Monday. Tickets are $125 for a 2-minute virtual meet and greet. WWE says this: once you purchase a ticket, you will receive an order confirmation via email. In the email, you will find your access code, an orange button to test your device's compatibility, and a gray button underneath, which will turn green and unlock on the day of the event. To join the virtual chat platform, you'll simply need to click on this green button. There is no app needed, and you don't need to download anything. Now, obviously, as you guys can see on screen, Keith Lee, Bayley, Braun Strowman, or Boring Strowman, Drew McIntyre, and the fraud, Seth Rollins, the Messiah, will all take part in this virtual fan experience. The advertisement for the virtual meet and greet also details the cost and specifics, like I said, of the event. Limited virtual meet and greet tickets, $125. 2-minute live chat with a WWE superstar of your choice. Downloadable video of your entire experience. And purchase exclusive personalized autographed items from said superstar. This is the first time that WWE has done a virtual meet and greet instead of an actual access. It could be a success, it could be a failure. Knowing WWE, it'll probably be a fucking success, knowing that we got Antonio's out there willing to pay $400 fucking for an Alexa Bliss cameo and ask her out on a date. Now, are you guys going to be willing to pay $125 to meet and greet your favorite WWE superstar? Maybe I should pay $125 and ask Braun Strowman what type of Hot Pocket is his favorite. Maybe I should pay $125 and ask Seth Rollins why he blocked me on social media. Or better yet, what about Keith Lee for coming out of nowhere and blasting me on social media for what happened during the entire Alexa Bliss situation? What about Bayley? I could pay $125 for Bayley. She seems to be the one that deserves it the most. Bayley, Pam, listen, honey, you're doing a fantastic job. You're one of the greatest of all time. I'm loving the feud right now going on with everybody else in the women's division, and I love what's going on with Sasha and you and building towards an inevitable match. Which one should I do? Braun Strowman? I think Braun Strowman's the pick. But I'm not paying $125 for anybody. I don't do meet and greets. I did one meet and greet, and that was with AJ Styles, and that was it. That was pretty much it. But let me know what you guys think about that. SummerSlam, virtual meet and greet. WWE's doing all of this to enhance the SummerSlam experience. They don't want another WrestleMania travesty for their second biggest show of the year. Now, speaking of SummerSlam, Friday is the start of the ThunderDome on SmackDown. Obviously, this will continue on for the rest of the year. We will have a ThunderDome experience. I'm very interested to see what they got going on, and I posted in the last extra pictures of the overhyped, overwhelming production that is going into this thing. If you looked at it, you're probably wondering, are they going to get this thing ready for Friday? I don't know. But we had Justin Barrasso of Sports Illustrated in the Amway Center in the ThunderDome. He was already in the ThunderDome. I wonder if he has news on it, Vince McMahon, or was struck by lightning. But he took video via his cell phone, and this is what we see. Listen, man, I appreciate everybody working in that Amway Center. That looks like one hell of a job, and it looks great, to be quite honest with you. I am very curious. I'm not going to say I'm excited, because nothing about this company excites me anymore at all. Not even TakeOver. I'm not even excited for fucking TakeOver on Saturday night. But I will say this. I am very curious to know what WWE is going to do with this, how they pull it off, what it's going to look like on TV. I got to see all the geeks fucking cheering for all their favorites. You know, they're all going crazy on the big screen. I got to see what type of sound infiltrates into the Amway Center. Is it going to be genuine? Is it going to be produced? I don't know what WWE is doing here, but I will say this. On Friday night, we're going to live stream this motherfucker. We're going to live stream SmackDown's review on Off the Script. We're going to go over it. If it's bad, I will let you know. If it's good, I will let you know. Is this something that WWE is going to do and be successful at for the rest of the year? I will let you know. So, if you guys are genuinely curious about my thoughts on the ThunderDome, you got to watch Friday SmackDown review right here on OTS, because you know I'm going to give it to you like it should. So, as you guys know, a lot of ex-WWE superstars migrated over to Impact Wrestling in the Impact Zone on Access TV. There was one WWE superstar as of this week's tapings that shoot on Vince McMahon, and he explained how it's pretty clear that Vince McMahon is an out-of-touch 70-year-old man. Please tell me something I don't know, Mr. Ex-WWE superstar. Who was it? You're probably asking. So over Slammiversary weekend, like I said, many of the WWE ex-superstars that were fired due to budget cuts of COVID-19, who were released in April, made their move to Impact Wrestling. Last month, we saw the Good Brothers, EC3, Heath Slater, Kurt Hawkins all sign with Impact Wrestling. Will they make an impact? Probably not. But they found work, so I'm grateful for that in their case, that they found work. On TV, Impact has never been shy about making references to WWE. Of course not. They need attention any way that they can get attention. So mentioning WWE on their program, of course, oh my God, they're cool, they're slick, they're edgy. They're doing it because they want to generate buzz. Oh my God, he said that about the E. That's exactly why they do it. And that continued on this week's show as Kurt Hawkins, or I should say the former Kurt Hawkins, Brian Myers, shot hard on WWE and Vince McMahon during a backstage segment between Willie Mack and Jimmy Jacobs. Brian Myers decided to take some shots at his former boss, Vince McMahon and WWE. This is what he had to say, and I quote, "Have I always played by the rules, done everything I've been told, listened to the veterans? I don't know, have you? I'm sure you listened to Titus for all those fucking years in catering. He's a fucking veteran in the culinary art, I'm sure. Where did it get me? Where did it get me in this business? Catering. Titus loved you. I don't know, man. That's the highest of fucking honors in this industry. Fired with a wife 6 months pregnant, sitting at home. I'm so sick of being referred to as somebody's good hand. It disgusts me that major decisions in this business are made by some out-of-touch 70-year-old man in some goofy production meeting. Not anymore. I'm taking my career and this business into my hands. End quote. I don't know, folks. What do you think of that? Do you think it's Brian Myers really going to be making an impact on Impact Wrestling, on Axis? Or is it somebody who is at the bottom of the barrel as far as his career goes, looking to make a difference by mentioning his former employer to generate interest for his current employer? Brian Myers on Impact Wrestling, folks. The word impact does not fit into Brian Myers' vocabulary. It's not going to make any difference whatsoever. He can mention everything he's done in WWE, all the accolades, Zack Ryder, Vince McMahon, his favorite dish in catering, who he loved to sit next to in fucking catering, how many times he won and lost on main event, how many times he had a WrestleMania moment. I don't give a shit, and neither does anybody else. Brian Myers can mention 70-year-old Vince McMahon in the way he did on Impact. You're not releasing new information there, Einstein. It doesn't matter. Nobody's watching Impact. Nobody gives a fuck about Impact. Nobody gives a fuck about Brian Myers. So please, spare me. Oh, JD, you should be watching Impact. I don't want to see people who were bums in WWE be bums in another promotion, or better yet, be booked as something that I know that they're not. And in the final story of today's OTS Extra Man, Mickie James, who was buried on Monday Night Raw, absolutely disrespected by Bruce Pritchard because Bruce has a problem with Mickey's husband, Nick Aldis. That's the reason. If anybody tells you otherwise, they're a fucking moron. Mickie James explains in a recent interview on what it takes to be the next Becky Lynch. WWE could have 4 different Becky Lynches if they want. Why isn't there at least 4 different Becky Lynches on Monday Night Raw? Because WWE doesn't want to push new stars. They want to rest their laurels on the old. They want to rest their laurels on who is favorite in management. They don't give a shit about anybody else. Bianca Belair could be the next Becky Lynch. Tegan Nox could be the next Becky Lynch. Liv Morgan could be the next Becky Lynch. Ruby Riott could be the next Becky Lynch. Rhea Ripley could be the next Becky Lynch. They don't want that. They want it when they want it, and when they want it, more than likely, it's going to be too late. But I digress. During this interview, and I'm not going to tell you where the interview came from because fuck everybody else in the community. Nobody wants to give me a shout out or anything. Fuck them. She was interviewed, and she was asked about Becky Lynch. How does one get to that level as a top star in WWE? Now, she says this, and I quote, and I have the answer, folks, and it's not what Mickie James said in regards to this interview. She says, and I quote, "It's a rarity when someone gets red hot like that. That's a different level. We all aspire to get to that point. You just need... Sometimes it's just that one thing. That one thing, and she got it. And she rolled with it. She was on fire. Nobody was more over than Becky Lynch. It's so awesome to see that as being a female spot because these spots were always delegated for men." There we go. There we go. You got to throw your agendas in there. That kind of big money, big level push, that much time, that much investment in getting the microphone and all that kind of stuff. She took the ball and she ran with it and she kicked ass, and I'm so proud of her. I think that spot is open, but it's one of those things where, yeah, that spot is open, but it's going to take not only a big character, but the right investment. End quote. First of all, no women on the WWE roster are going to draw a rating. First of all, let's get that right out there. No woman on the roster is a draw. Nobody's coming to the arenas when they reopen back up, and nobody's watching the shows as far as the ratings go to watch women's wrestling, number one, okay? They're great. Don't get me wrong, it's a vital part of the show. Don't get me wrong, they got some of the best athletes in the world in WWE as far as women's wrestling goes. Some of them are better than the men. I know this, but this is the truth. Nobody's watching WWE programming for women's wrestling. It's not going to be the one big draw that WWE is going to put out there to draw viewers back in to help dying ratings. It's not going to happen. The other thing is, Mickie James wants to know. She wants to explain what it takes, or this interview wants to know what it takes to be the next Becky Lynch. Folks, the answer to that question is they already have their replacement for Becky Lynch. It's Charlotte Flair. When Charlotte Flair comes back from elective surgery, she will be right back in that spot that Becky Lynch left vacant. How do you get to that spot? You can't get to that spot. You won't get to that spot because it belongs to Charlotte Flair. How do you get to that spot? Be blonde, be plastic, be a Barbie doll, be elective. That's exactly what you got to do to get to that spot in WWE. You're not going to get to Becky Lynch's spot. And by the way, I love it how people fail to really speak the truth on this. Why did Becky Lynch get the spot that she got to begin with? Because WWE creative sucks balls. That's why. WWE wanted to push Becky Lynch as a heel. WWE didn't realize how over Becky Lynch was. WWE didn't realize the power of Becky Lynch's fan base. WWE fails to listen to their audience. If they did, they'd push Becky Lynch as a top superstar. They didn't. They wanted to write their own story about Becky Lynch being a heel and Charlotte, of all fucking people, being a face. Nobody likes Charlotte Flair. WWE wanted to push the opposite. They wanted to push their own narrative. It backfired on them. Do you remember that? Because I know I do. I mean, look at the fucking people cheering in this photo. Everybody went crazy. Everybody knew it was the wrong creative decision. So, Miss James, what does it take? Luck. What does it take? Being blonde, being plastic, being tall, being blonde, being Charlotte Flair. WWE already has the next Becky Lynch in Charlotte Flair, because you know when she comes back, she'll be having all the gold in the ThunderDome. Hopefully Vince McMahon gets struck by lightning before then. Guys, I'm getting out of here. Let me know what you think down below in the comment section of this very video. Follow me on social media at JD from NY206. Did you have a good fucking time here today? Huh? I know I did. Let me know what you think down below. Social media at JD from NY206. Follow me on Twitter and Instagram. Hit that subscribe button down below. Turn on that bell for all notifications. And if you missed any of the content, there's a lot of it. There will be more of it this weekend. Links are down below in the description of this very video. Guys, I'm getting out of here. I'll see you tomorrow for more content on OTS. Have a good one. SummerSlam weekend, Summer Scam weekend is upon us. Hopefully it's less of a scam this year than previous years, but I'm not holding my breath. I'll see you guys later.